What are your crimes, Mark? Yes, what are your crimes, Mark? Did you beat your wife? Did you kick up Huck? We'll find your crimes or make it up. Did you laugh at Hubbard? That's not nice, and now you'll have to pay your price. So what are your crimes, Mark? What have you done? Oh, it's too late now. Fair game's begun.
Welcome to the intergalactic studios of Xenu TV. We are broadcasting again all throughout this sector of the galaxy, coming to you straight from the planetary capital, Clearwater, Florida. And man, is this a swell place to be. I went out to join in a little bit of the picketing tonight. I got there a little late. Things were happening already. Lots of people on the street, even more people driving by honking. Busy as usual on a Friday night here outside the Superpower building. When in Florida, come to Flag and honk loudly. So it was nice to see a lot of people out there, meeting some new people, some people who were just visiting from out of town who said that we had to see this. And one fellow was even, Wise Beard Man, I need a hug. And, I'm always ready and willing to hug. It's a swell day and a swell night here. And I thought, I'm tired. That's true. I'm tired, but I'm going to go on with the show. I'm going to provide something exciting here for you tonight, and I'm working hard at that. Kelly's here. Hello, Kelly. And her advice, always good. Hit that like on the way in. Power Lies to Paralyze is here. Wait a minute. How come? What happens here? When I click on that, it didn't show. Now it's showing. He says hi. I say hi. And Goblin's here. Hey, how about that? Howdy, Mark, Kelly, and Power. And that had to be Eric, the fellow who hugged me. Is that what you're saying, Kelly? It could be. I can't remember his name. I can't remember my name. Yes, Eric Rader. How about that? It was really nice to meet him. And I recommended, hey, go one block down, turn right, look across the street. Go say hi to the guy who runs the dueling piano bar establishment. That is the happening place. That's hopping in downtown Clearwater. And I wanted Tony over at that place to get a little love from folks visiting town. Now I didn't. I didn't get much of the story, and it's a shame. Eric Rader has a horrific story. He certainly seemed happy. Did not seem terribly scarred. And thanks so much. This is a big help. Monica thinks my name is Mark, and that sounds about right. If it's not, I'm just going to go by that for the rest of the night. I'm Mark. Hello, everybody. I'm Mark. He has a YouTube channel. I'll have to check it out. And maybe I'm Monica. Am I Monica? Nope. No, it's Mark. Okay. What's in the name, really? It's really special when you have a name like Wise Beard Man. There's majesty in that name. It's always nice to be recognized on the street. Slappy Slumber Party. I guess somebody saw the thumbnail for this. I didn't know what the theme would be tonight, but I suddenly had an urge to create an image of Slappy Miscavige asleep in bed, curled up nice and warm, dreaming of his favorite council members. So if you haven't seen that yet, that is the thumbnail for this video. And I don't, I don't really have a theme for tonight, but once I thought of that, I had to say that the theme for tonight was, oh, wait a minute. There you go. Majestic, Mark. Wow. That's nice too. So I figured the theme for tonight to go along with that is getting what you dream about. Jay's here. Hey, Jay. Nice to see you. I didn't realize that the slumber party one here that you said was you. I didn't take a moment to say, to look and say, hey, it's Jay. Let's see. And Jay never checks in without, never enters without checking the thumbnail. Got to be prepared. Yes. Mark, do you listen to podcasts? I'm looking for some new ones to listen to. I do. Let's see. What are some that I do listen to? Well, I usually check out Keith Olbermann, but if you like Keith, that Countdown with Keith Olbermann is one to check in on. But for fun, I really enjoy some interviews shows. And probably the most enjoyable is Conan O'Brien. Conan O'Brien Needs a Friend. That is great fun. And I like Conan so much more now in this long format that he has, and him sitting around and goofing on his assistants and doing just the most entertaining commercials. So I would suggest that if you haven't listened to it. I also have been listening to David Tennant once in a while when he does a podcast where he's interviewing people. And if it's somebody I like recently he sat down with Russell T. Davies, who was the executive producer when David Tennant first came on, and writer, and all of the things that Russell T. Davies did to bring back Doctor Who. And once again, now after a hiatus, he has returned to do the new Doctor Who episodes as well. So there are times when he's sitting down and talking to somebody that I really enjoy listening to it. Also, which one is this? Seth Meyers has a couple of different podcasts, and there's one he does with not Adam Sandler, of course. I can't think of it right now, but he's a guy who was part of the Lonely Planet or Lonely Island. I think that was the name of it. When he was on the show, it was, just this tiny group of people who did these songs like, what was it, Dick in a Box? And really creative things. So they all get together to look back at an episode of Saturday Night Live and go over the creation of what could have been classic or a misfire. And then they talk about the sketches in the show and what it was like dealing with the host that week and sharing a lot of anecdotes. So I enjoy that. Adam Sandberg, thank you so much. I knew somebody out there would have a better memory than me at this point. Yes. So that's what I like. I also enjoy listening to, of course, Fresh Air, with or without Terry. Terry, what's her name? You know her name. Come on, somebody, give me Terry's last name. And I know there's one or two others that I'm checking out. Well, hey, look at this. I could just go on my phone and see what I have in here. Okay, Downcast. What do I have? Downcast is the app I use here. The Business. Oh my God. The Business is a great showbiz show from NPR, essentially. Once a week, it's a half-hour show, and it's hosted by Kim Masters, who I've run into many times over the years. And she is somebody who's really following the Scientology story. I first met her when I was a page at, I was working at Paramount Studios, and she came to take our little studio tour, which, unlike the Universal Studio tour, where you were on a big tram with hundreds of people, on the Paramount lot, we would give tours that would be just a handful of people, 4 to 6, maybe on a golf cart, and we go around and get to go in some of the sound stages and watch rehearsals or something shooting. Like at that point, they were doing Cheers and Michael J. Fox's show, whatever the thing that was called. Of course, I know what it's called. I just can't think of it right now. Entertainment Tonight, we would sometimes be able to sneak in and watch them doing a little bit of that. And right toward the end of the tour, it was mentioned that there was a little $10 charge for the tour normally, but not for guests. And she didn't realize that somebody paid $10 for her, and that was a real, I can't take this tour. I didn't know that there was, because that's unethical. You don't want to be taking something from the studio and then be accused of being bought off. And we tried to convince her it's fine, it's okay. And then later on, when she's covering stories on Scientology, especially, and I would run into her more and more often. Once over at Spanky's home, Spanky Taylor was having a party and Tori Magoo and I were there, and Kim Masters was there. Let's see, others. I know it's fascinating, but you asked, I'm going to try out family trips with the Myers brothers, which is the other Seth Meyer podcast. And as far as politics go, I do like to check in with the Lincoln Project. And I was trying to think of this guy's name the other day. He does the Lincoln Project, and he's got another one too. His name is Rick Wilson. His other one is called Rick Wilson's The Enemy List. And Rick Wilson was a right-wing Bush era, could be attack dog. He'd be on TV savaging the Democrats, but he had an amazingly great sense of humor. And I really started to appreciate that when he was taking on Trump. So he's been, doing a great job of creating some of the most amazing commercials, kind of exposing Trump's agenda. Not that it did much good, but I like that. And I check out the weekly show with Jon Stewart. So that'll keep you busy for a while. That's part of my big old list. I didn't mention everything, but those are the ones that I'm most likely to check out. And let's see. Goblin AFK says, I've been listening to Penn's Sunday School, Neil deGrasse Tyson's Star Talk, and one called VORW. And what's that about? Oh, I knew somebody. No, this is not it. Animal Audit Center came up with Spin City for the Michael J. Fox show. No, it was Family Ties. Thank you, though. You jogged my memory. Family Ties was on the air at the time, and he had just left to do Back to the Future. And when I say left, he was still doing Family Ties, but he had to split his time. So sometimes you'd be in a rehearsal for the show, and he had a stand-in doing his part. And he could only make it for like the last dress rehearsal and then taping. But it was really interesting to see, those folks working up close. I had a chance to talk to him once, and nothing major. I also had a chance to talk to, who was the mom on the show? Somebody will know. Who played the mom? Meredith something. Come on. You got it out there. I'm counting on you. Anyway, actress that I really loved. And she looked a lot like actress on the big screen who, if I knew her name, I would tell that one to you right now. But both blonde women with beautiful blue eyes. Yeah, Meredith Baxter Burney. There you go. Thank you. What's this? Meredith Bacteria Burney. Okay. No. I like it this way, Power. Meredith Bacteria Burney. I hope that doesn't catch on. But I actually was. I told her at one point that I thought she was the most beautiful woman on TV. And she said, thank you. And then later came out as gay. I think I did it to her. I think my little comment to her was enough to say, okay, I got to make some changes here. I'm glad I took a careful look at this because, Goblin, when I saw this pop up here, I thought it was saying, I got to ask your nudist question. And I looked a little more closely. I got to ask your rudest, strangest celebrity encounter. I don't know about the rudest. There's a few. I think I do know the rudest. You may have heard of a fella named Mickey Rooney. He was the top box office draw throughout the 40s, especially. And by the time I had an encounter with him, he had developed a reputation as quite a surly fella, quite a difficult person to work with. He hit on my girlfriend, as I remember, back in college. I was dating this woman who would work behind the scenes of different stage shows that would come through. And Sugar Babies was there, and Mickey Rooney hit on her. Donald O'Connor did too, and I was flattered by that. I said, okay, if you want to go with Donald O'Connor, that's fine. Also, who's the other one? Georgie Jessel. 90-year-old Georgie Jessel had somebody come over to her to say, Georgie would like to be with you. Well, that's not my rudest encounter, but when I saw Mickey Rooney, it was at a movie theater in the LA area. And, I wanted to tell Mickey, if I had a chance, how much I enjoyed this performance he did in the 1950s on live TV. And they showed this, there was a series that was airing on PBS where they took these great shows like Marty, these things that aired live, and they had the kinescopes of them, and then they had interviews with everybody involved in the show. And the one they played of Mickey Rooney was a script written by Rod Serling, and it was called The Comedian. And in it, Mickey Rooney played a Milton Berle type of live TV star of the 1950s, they come out every week and do a weekly little sketch show. And so this one was about this comic who was beloved by the public, but was a surly bastard and a miserable, miserable human being. So it opens with, hey, they're rehearsing the big, opening monologue or something, and then cut, and then he starts screaming at the cast and everybody, and idiot camera people and all that. And he's just a monster. And also in that was the first acting performance from Mel Torme, who played his Weasley he was Yeah, okay. Weasley little brother-in-law. Um, he, Mel Torme was married to Mickey Rooney's sister. And he became the butt of all Mickey Rooney's gags, cruel gags about, how weak this guy was and what a sap. And his wife would be telling him, stand up to him. Come on. You gotta tell him to knock it off. I don't know. He's the boss. So that's the dynamics of it. But it was a brilliant performance and a really great show. And it's the type of thing where I thought, if anyone is going to come up to Mickey Rooney, they're going to say, boy, I love those films with Judy Garland or this, that, the things that everybody knew. But I just wanted to say, your performance in that was spectacular. And he starts to come up to me and I go, oh, Mr. Rooney. And he keeps moving. I go, Mr. Rooney. And he goes a little bit closer, Mr. Rooney. And he actually got past me because he was moving pretty fast, turned around, went, rah, 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 and then went into the theater. And I'm, oh, okay. All right. That may be the rudest. But maybe he just knew that was the character I was interested in, and he just gave me a live performance of it. Also, there's a great anecdote. And this is not why you're here, I know. But this is the stuff that I love talking about. In the interviews for The Comedian on PBS, it was directed by John Frankenheimer, really terrific movie director, went on to make movies. And Frankenheimer's talking about how difficult it was working with Mickey Rooney, how every day he'd come in and he'd be ad-libbing new lines. And one day he sat down Mickey and said, listen, Mickey, you've got to stick to the script. And Mickey Rooney said, the only words that are the only writer that is worth learning the words is Billy Shakespeare, something like that. And Frankenheimer said to him, well, I got a problem, Mickey, because in the script here it says Mickey Rooney says this, and my notes say close up Mickey Rooney. If Mickey Rooney doesn't say this, Mickey Rooney doesn't get a close up. And from that moment on, he was letter perfect. I always loved that story. And maybe my favorite inconsequential meeting was when I bumped into, I walked past Walter Matthau on the Paramount lot, who was walking with one of the executives, I think. And I looked up and noticed him at the last moment as I passed him, and you could see on my face, going, ooh, and kept walking by, and I turned around, and he, without turning around, behind his back, he gave me a little wave like this. And I just thought, well, that's perfect. That's all I needed from Walter Matthau. I did get to meet and talk with Jack Lemmon, and he autographed my videotape of The Apartment, which is one of my favorite movies of all time. And I think that's it. Nobody was expecting Mickey Rooney. Kelly met Steve Bond, who was a heartthrob on General Hospital at the time. Complete. Wow. Is he related to Mickey Rooney? Nurse Lori is here. Hello, Nurse Lori. Nice to see you. Was it a full moon when Mickey went? No. And Hippie Chick, I think everybody loved Walter Matthau. You can't not love Walter Matthau. He's an irascible curmudgeon, which always from my youth, I thought, well, that's me. I'm going to be an irascible curmudgeon. There was a period where I was America's oldest living boy genius. And then that just turned over to irascible curmudgeon. Who else is here? Yeah. You're autocorrect. I know. I know you purposely. What was that? That it was Meredith bacteria, Bernie. I know how you feel. You're not telling me that's autocorrect, for God's sakes. You should be ashamed of yourself. Well, there you go. I talked to Kevin Smith for a few minutes, and he is a really great guy. I would imagine you only talked to him for a few minutes. Seems like if you ask that guy a question, he's going to talk like me. And just, eventually he'll go, I have to go. I've got a life. I really enjoy Kevin Smith. His movies haven't always been that great, but listening to him talk about his movies is a joy. And I am a fan of his stuff. But if you've ever watched any of his An Evening with Kevin Smith, where he can just get on stage and tell stories about working with different people and have some scathing stories about showbiz, it's tons of fun. I should have prefaced that, says Goblin AFK. I did a few minutes of talking. He did many more. Well, there you go. Now, that's Kevin Smith. Now I understand. Animal Audit Center. Comment, my favorite scene in Back to the Future was when Marty McFly went back in time and performed on stage when he was a decade off of a Chuck Berry song, jumping around on stage and everyone was staring at him. That's such a great movie. That's a great moment in the film, but are there any moments in the film that aren't great? I think that's just, like one of the most wonderful sci-fi adventure fantasy films made. Very funny. I never tire of watching it. I also like the two sequels. And my time working on the Paramount lot is always great to see, because that was shot there. We used to drive by the malt shop where he goes into in all of the films. And of course, it's on the back lot where the lightning strikes the clock tower there. That has been used in so many movies over the decades. It's always a thrill to be there going through these sets. It's the 40th anniversary of Back to the Future this year, and thank God there's been a commitment of Hollywood to not remake Back to the Future. We don't need a remake of it. It's perfect. Don't anyone mess with that. They did the musical of it. I can't imagine the musical really working, but I guess it was popular. All right. I think I've told you my one of my favorite stories from the Paramount lot is when I met William Shatner and gave him a copy of the Rob Lowe tape. That was fun. I can't turn up the sound as he was trying to play a videotape in his office. Pulled that up for no reason, but sorry, Kelly. So I don't have, Smiley says, my son loves Back to the Future. Well, he better. How could you not love it? If you sat any kid down at any time, if it's 50 years from now, and we've mutated to have just, holodecks in our brain, so we can just pretend we're somewhere. You'd still, if you saw Back to the Future, you'd go, oh, that was funny. That was delightful, and it was touching and great. Comment from Animal Audit Corner. I don't like the idea of Back to the Future being a musical. Well, I agree. These things seldom work. I think one of the most amazing adaptations that I remember being made was a musical version of Rocky. But it was on Broadway. But what's the, there have been some incredible failures. There was a musical version of Stephen King's Carrie that bombed, and I think they tried bringing it back and reviving it at one point. Some, not on Broadway, but a company said, "Oh, there's something here. We got to do this." I'm not saying it couldn't be done. This was after Sweeney Todd was on Broadway and was a huge hit, so everybody was going, "What kind of creepy, scary horror thing do we have?" I recently listened to the commentary tracks on all the Back to the Future films with Bob Gale, one of the producers. I highly recommend them. Yes, indeed. I love commentary tracks. I have a lot that I haven't listened to yet, like some of the, the original Lord of the Rings trilogy. They had a deluxe edition where they're like 4 different audio tracks for each of the 3 4-hour-long movies, the extended editions. And I have not yet gone through all of them, but and those are packed with really amazing behind-the-scenes stuff that's just hours and hours and hours of stuff. I love having them. I don't always get to everything in them, but every once in a while I go, yeah, I want to listen to that tonight. Mr. Miscavige is here. I know an author who destroys Stephen King's whole catalog. I wonder who that could be. Well, I'm glad you're with us, Slappy. Did you know, Slappy, did you see the thumbnail? What did you think? Goblin, I started a commentary of 12 Angry Men, one of my favorite films, and it's like a film studies course in itself. Yeah, there's a lot of tracks which are really amazing, fill you in with a lot of interesting behind-the-scenes stuff. Every once in a while, there's a turkey where you go, have you seen the film in a while? Do you know what you're talking about? And there's some people who were just great at it. Like, Roger Ebert did a number of commentary tracks, including on Citizen Kane. And he always was so filled with passion and joy and love of movies. And even just the little details that he filled in there were really fascinating to hear. There's a scene where there's a shot, a little young Charles Foster Kane, as a little kid, is outside the family home. You're looking at this Christmas scene, not Christmas, but winter scene, through the window, and there's snow there falling on the kid. And the camera comes back through and into the home and backs up to see a character, and there's a table there. And he was explaining, in order to do the shot, the table was in 2 pieces so the camera could come by. And as the camera was moving, they would slide the 2 parts of the table together. And he said, if you look, there's a little jiggle, very little jiggle as that happens. And it's not some breathtaking wow, that blew my mind. But it's one of those things where, it's a really fascinating little story. And it's interesting to see how Orson Welles, who was creating all sorts of new and different ways of shooting things in that movie, it's a way of him saying, well, we can't do that. Well, let's see if we can just cut the table apart and, slide it back together. Oh, well, see, David did see it. That's just my approximation. I'm sure, but come on, you have apartments everywhere. Are they all much, much nicer? Or is there one somewhere that's just, comfy? Comfy is good. Goblin says the worst commentaries are the ones where they just describe what's happening on screen. You are so correct. We can see that. Ebert's Kane commentary is wonderful. He sheds light on all the camera tricks. Yep. Even my bedroom on the ship is nicer. Sorry, Prunes. Okay, Slappy. be that way. Braggart. So yeah, those were people are just sitting there going, "Huh, I haven't seen this in years." Oh, yeah, those are annoying. Sometimes it can be fun. Like there's a lot of episodes of SCTV 90 where Joe Flaherty, Eugene Levy, Andrea Martin, who's the woman that whose name I forgot the other day when I was talking about how much I love Catherine O'Hara. Andrea Martin and her were brilliant on that show, and it kills me that Andrea Martin does not have a bigger career, because she is terrific. She works all the time, and she does a lot of musicals on Broadway. She was in Oklahoma with Wolverine. Who you know who Wolverine is. I know you do. Slappy, it was nice of you to come by. You curl up nice and comfy, and I dare you to not dream about your new council members. Good night to you. Nurse Lori, so interesting. Currently, my husband is watching Grumpy Old Men. That's a fun film. Jack Lemmon, Walter Matthau, Sophia Loren, and Margaret. That must be part 2. Burgess Meredith, yeah. Yeah, those are nice. I mean, they're not brilliant movies, but they're certainly fun. And it was great to see that they had a chance to make some fun movies together toward the end of their careers. Because it doesn't always happen that you continue to work into the later years of your life. And I thought those were delightful. And Hubba Hubba and Margaret, I always loved her. Although it's a little tough going back and watching some of the older stuff when she was kitten with a whip, and some of the dances are very entertaining, and some are, well, that didn't age quite well, but she certainly was terrific. When's the next council meeting? I think the next one that they're having a vote on Slappy getting the street he wants, I think it's going to be May 15th. We're having a heat wave, a tropical heat wave. Wasn't that Maryland? I'm sure that was. Did you watch Mad Men? Mad Men was a great show. And in the first season, there was one of the guys who worked at the ad agency was a closeted gay. And his wife did not know until one night he was excited about telling her, we're going to recreate Anne Margaret's opening number from Bye Bye Birdie for this commercial. We're going to work the product into it. And he starts doing the dance that Anne Margaret did. And as he's doing this, his wife is going, oh my God, he's gay. And that character, I enjoyed seeing that character. And then, he was, it's been a long time since I watched it, but it was revealed and he got fired from the agency. And I always hoped in the later years he would be back in the storyline somehow, but no. Gone. Slappy? Slappy. He's Slappy. Miscavige was slapping people around, like Mike Rinder and other folks. Miscavige would get upset. He'd have somebody hold them, and he'd come up and slap him and beat him. So I call him Slappy ever since then. Question, can we join in on Zoom? You mean on one of these things? Good question. I don't know if it connects with Zoom. One can have a guest in here by sending an invitation through StreamYard. And I've done that with Magoo. I don't know that I've had anyone else that I've had join me, although I've joined others. Okay. Somebody might know. Have I had anybody else join me here? Rockstar Gran says, hi to you. Nice to be here with you all. Well, you are always welcome. Good video with Tony Ortega earlier today. Thanks. I'm glad you liked it. I vented a lot. I try not to be hard on the new council members. I want to give them the benefit of the doubt, but after watching the performance last night, it's hard. It's hard to not look at how whipped up, especially Ryan got at the very thought of not voting on this. I always want to give people the benefit of the doubt, but certainly that was troubling. Lucent dreams tonight. Mark, no Scientology nightmares. Okay, that sounds good. SP Wog is here? Where's SP Wog? Oh, there you go. Oh, that was SP Wog that said good video. Thank you. Appreciate that. Nice to see you. Easiest way to support Mark, hit that button, that like button. Make sure you're subscribed. Kelly has a good point. It is easy and free. Speaking of things like this, is JB808 here? I don't think I've run across him yet tonight. JB808 was really terrific and picked up something from my Amazon wish list. And I was holding off on showing this until he was here. But if he's not here now, he'll probably check the video out later. So if I played this, he would see it. I could hold off on this, or I could play it right now, and I kind of like to play it right now. Heck, I can always play it again. Because I'm so excited about this. I didn't want to wait anymore. Wait, okay. All right, wait for JB808. Mark looked like a kid on Christmas Day last night, even though he did not have the present yet. Yeah, okay. I'll wait. You're right. In the early years of Hollywood, a lot of actors and actresses were in the closet, and I think still today. There's still folks who are concerned that it might hurt their careers. Nothing like the old days, though. There's a really good documentary. There's a guy who actually, this was turned into a TV series on Netflix. There was apparently a gas station in Hollywood where a lot of gay people were working at the gas station, and then the people from showbiz would drive in there, get some gas, and then hook up, and there'd be all these parties with all these famous actors like Rock Hudson and who's the other one that was in it? Randolph Scott, I think, was another character in the show. And this was documented. This was a true story of this guy who worked at the gas station and became this guy who got pimped out to the Hollywood stars. And it was from Ryan, what's his name, who does the American Horror Story series and American crime stories like the O.J. Simpson trial. It's called Hollywood, and it was, I think, well done. I saw the documentary about this guy. But the thing about, I never really cared that much for Rock Hudson. Yeah, he was okay. I had nothing against him, but he didn't strike me as somebody like Jimmy Stewart or Henry Fonda that I loved. Oh, here's just a good-looking guy who's fine. But watching this show, I really, really came to appreciate him as a person. And what was going on behind the scenes with the studios, I look back now. Once in a while, I'll see a performance of his, and I give him much more credit than I used to. Always heard that Raymond Burr was gay. Boy, was he ever. Kelly, don't get me torn on this, because if he's not here tonight, I'll be back sometime. I should probably just wait until then. Animal Audit Center, Corner rather, Animal Audit Corner has a comment. I liked it when Lena pulled for everyone in Clearwater. Boy, you should have liked it. I loved it. I thought it was really terrific that she was so strong on it. And Lena and I didn't always see eye to eye. She was always concerned about Scientology, but she was also Scientology's go-to girl. I remember one time when I was new on the council, I had made a suggestion at some point that the city should use Scientology as a tourist attraction. And I explained, listen, people are fascinated by Scientology. There's all these books, the TV shows, the movies. We should be giving tours of the Scientology properties and making it something, instead of being afraid of it, making it a destination. Not as big as the Clearwater Beach, but while you're here on Clearwater Beach, come and take the Scientology tour. And I remember the mayor saying, I don't think we're going to get into Scientology tourism, Mark. Still think it's a great idea. But what happened is a guy who I knew, who was the condo president in the condos I was renting when I first moved back to Clearwater. He was a supporter of mine. And as I mentioned the other day, Scientology tried to have me evicted when I moved back here to Clearwater in 2013, because there was a Scientologist living right next door to me. I was in apartment D, she was in C. And I found out when she knocked on my door shortly after I moved in. And I got to Clearwater with just a handful of stuff with me. Like, I had all my computer stuff with me, but I didn't have any furniture. I had my mattress topper that I put in the car. So I was sleeping on that and waiting. I had to wait another week till the movers came with all my stuff. And in that period, she knocked on my door and said, hi, I'm your neighbor. Well, come on over. Well, we'll talk. So she was very happy, very bubbly. I said, okay. So I went over and I was chatting with her. And we were talking about the weather, doggies and kitties, and just nonsense. And as I was talking to her, I could see she had a whole bookcase full of Hubbard stuff. And she was saying, Mark, do you need some furniture? You want a chair? I can give you a chair. And I thought, it's best I just say no. And I let her know, listen, I think you should know that I've been working on a documentary about Scientology. I guess I would be considered an SP, but I hope we can be friends. And as I said that, her face fell. She went from, in that case, you're going to have to leave. But I'd like to leave. So she immediately contacted Scientology and said, there's an SP next door. Bunker's moved back to town. Oh my God. So the Scientology attorneys sent off an angry letter to the condo association of which this guy was the president, and said, "You have to evict this guy. He cannot be living in this condo." And the condo president wrote back and saying, "We did a background check on him. He's fine." So they backed me up. And then he was the one who watched me at the meeting on the city council suggest that Scientology tours would be great. And he ran with that. He decided, okay, I'm going to do it. But he did it in a way that really pissed off the city. As he, well, for a way, he wore a very clownish type of admiral's uniform, and he made it very jokey and made fun of their religious beliefs. And I went on one of his trial run rehearsal tours, and I made some suggestions, like, over by the sandcastle, he would get into ridiculing Xenu. And I said, it's better not to do that, but to just explain it. Here's what they believe. 75 million years ago, Earth was known as Tikiak and was ruled over by the evil overlord Xenu. You don't have to say, God, these people, just give that information out there. But he kept going with more of the insulting type of stuff. But what really got the city upset, and which made the city manager and the mayor and everybody come down on me, is that he would try to stop in with his little tour group at a place to, get a soda or coffee or something. And he went into one or two places where they said, I'm sorry, we don't want to serve you in here. So he would go on to Yelp and say, oh, these people are Scientologists and they're not allowing us to come in there. Well, they weren't Scientologists. They just didn't want to be attacked by Scientology usually. They were a very rambunctious group who could be a little distracting to other customers. So they just said, please. Then those businesses would call City Hall and the city manager would say, Mark, look what's happening. I didn't do it. Hey, please. But it was my suggestion that this would be a fun, wonderful way to get some tourism dollars here. So that kind of blew up. So let's go here. So we're back there. Animals comment. Yeah, Lena. Oh, and the reason I brought this up originally, I guess, was that Lena being Scientology's go-to girl. So during that period when he was doing these tours, Lena had me up to her office, which was a few floors higher than City Hall in this tower. And she had some sort of business organization that, was not major. Like we had the Downtown Development Board, and there was the Clearwater Merchants Association. And then she had her own group kind of like that. And she wanted to pitch me on voting for some funding for her group. She wanted something like $120,000 a year to have an assistant to be doing some of the office stuff. And so like Scientology did with the council members, she had each of us drop by to pitch this idea. And while I was sitting there in her office, a Scientologist came running into the room, got halfway into the room, and I was sitting there. And Lena went, not now, come back in 10 minutes. And the woman turned and left. And I said, who is that? It's somebody from the Welcome Center. The Scientology Welcome Center? Yeah. What does she want? She wanted to complain about the cult tours. Why is she coming to you? I mean, I'm on the council. I'm right here. She could have talked to me. Of course, she wouldn't talk to me because she's a Scientologist and I'm an SP. But, you know, they could reliably go to her and feel comfortable saying, we need help with this. And I don't, you know, I don't want to damn her with that, because a lot of folks downtown, a lot of businesses felt that way. And she was strong in having relationships with the folks who ran businesses down there. But it was just really odd. And so she had a better connection to Scientology than anyone else. So to see her coming out strongly in the right direction on the street thing, I think was terrific. And while she was on the council with me, she was not necessarily Scientology friendly. But I was excited to see how strong she was and how eloquent she was, and how important she thought it was not to give Scientology the street. So where did I leave off? We've got that comment there, and I know a lot of people have been typing things while I've been blabbing. Oh, wait a minute. Kelly's correcting me. YouTube watcher wasn't telling you to wait. W was for win, not wait. And I learned that last night. W. And YouTube watcher, it's good to think, Kelly. It's important that somebody slap me silly from time to time. I can imagine you on top of that tour shuttle with a microphone. And if you look to your left, you know, if it wasn't so damn hot in Florida during from now until the rest of the year, it's miserably hot and muggy. I wouldn't mind going out and doing that. We didn't have there's not a tour shuttle that was involved in this. It was a walking tour, and I certainly don't have the stamina to make several walking tours around the entire town in the Florida heat. But, I still think it's a worthwhile and valuable thing that could be a nice addition to the town if done properly. I am so excited to hear Mark's plans for his first gamble videos. Well, I'm going to get out there at the casino, and I am just going to go nuts. First, craps. That's all I'm going to spend a day on craps. And then the next day, gimbal is what you meant. Okay. Oh, okay. Well, there you go. Yeah, I'm sure I have some plans for the gimbal as well. YouTube, let's see. Was Mark on someone's stream last night with it? No, I wasn't. I didn't have it last night. I may have been on somebody's stream. Was I? I couldn't have been last night, because we went late into the morning, I think, last night. As I know today, I'm exhausted. Although it'd be hard to tell that with the amount of energy I have prattling away about stuff. Nothing necessarily important, just stuff. My mouth continues to run on and on and on as I remember stories of Hollywood and all this kind of stuff. And you're so patient to listen to me. Let's see. Lisa in Brooklyn. Newman. I'm lost. Oh boy. JB808 here. JB808. Wow. We were waiting for you. You don't have to replay. Well, you can if you want. But now that you're here, I just wanted to share this. Let's take a look at this. Hey, this is Mark Bunker, and this is my first test of the gimbal. Now, I'm doing this without looking at any of the instructions. So I know I'm not doing anything right here, but it seems to be a really terrific tool. I'm going to head over to a protest right now. I'm not going to use it at the protest though, because the battery has not been charged on this and it looks like it's going to die any moment. But I just wanted to put it on and just say thank you so much, JB 808. I really appreciate the fact that you have gifted this to me. I'll make good use of it. Bye. Well, there you go. Fresh out of the box. I got it as I was heading out to see folks at the protest tonight. So I really appreciate that. Also, there was a really lovely note. Do I have it here? Or I think it's over in the other box. But it's a very nice note that came with it that was very complimentary. And I just want to really thank you. As I said, I just grabbed that from the mailbox and got in the car to go to the protest. And while I was sitting in the car, I thought, well, let me just see if I can turn it on and maybe I can go out there and get it working. But there's a lot of stuff to get it set up with the app and all that. So I didn't have a chance to really get it going. But by tomorrow, I'll be an expert at it. So that was absolutely wonderful of you. And I got to tell you, I have the older gimbal and I always had problems with it. This thing was remarkable. I mean, I just put my camera on it, start it up, it was pointing at me. Now, there's tons of other stuff you can do with that once I have it working properly. But the fact that it could balance and, work immediately without reading anything was pretty amazing. And oh my God, the light on it. There's a little light that, and it also helps balance the camera. There's some type of gyroscopic element of this. So when you have that little device on it, it helps really orient the phone. And on top of that, it's got a light. And I discovered you can change the intensity of that light, and it's damn bright for this tiny little light. And the microphone is coming in a separate package, as you said. So that'll be exciting. That is so kind, JB 808. Rochelle is correct. Is it Jamie or Jaime? Oh, good. That's nice. I didn't know he got that for you. Well, he's this is a person who doesn't like to toot his own horn. That's why I'm here. I'm tooting it. Like me, he's humble. Kelly is looking forward to live streams on the streets. Not just one street. I have to go to a bunch of streets. You'll have to take us down to the old LMT, Mark. I will. I will definitely go and do a tour there. YouTube watcher, Mark, no need to be a marathon to learn the gimbal today. Sleep is important too. That's true. Sometimes you're like a kid at Christmas time, as was mentioned. But I'm anxious to become a master of it. JB808, I feel indebted to people like Mark and Tori for doing all these videos out of sheer passion without any monetization. Thank you very much. It has been a wonderful hobby over the years. For so many years, that's true. I was thinking about it today. 27 years I've been doing this. I sit here and go, hey, yeah, it was, started in 1998, 1999. And I'm so used to saying that ever since 2000, 2001. So I've been doing it since 1998, 1999. And I just thought the other day, God, that's 27 years. I'm nuts. But you got to have a hobby. What's this? I'm the same one that was out there with y'all. Oh, hello. True story, JB, for feeling indebted to me and Tori. Well, we would do it no matter what, because we like to babble about stuff. And now we got people who listen to us babble. What's this? The selfish side of me got it, hoping he'll do more live streams outside. There you go. So I have to up my my phone service in order to have the data to do it. But I will do that. Surely a national treasure is deserving of a gimbal. You are so right. Every national treasure should have a gimbal and a spare hard drive to fill all the video onto that. Oh, Dusty Soda Dispenser has a concert too. What is that? Dusty Soda Dispenser. Maybe Bridge 1872 can explain it. All right. Next week. All right. Well, good heavens. So I didn't really have anything related to my thumbnail tonight. I just had this urge at the last minute. I was thinking, well, what am I going to use as a thumbnail? And this is the thought of Slappy dreaming of his council members. That made me start late tonight. So, okay, it's going to be 10:30 instead of 10, but I'm going to make this image. Oh, okay. Next weekend, Dusty will be streaming in Clearwater at the concerts on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, protesting. Okay. Very good. Dusty is friends with Aaron and Cheryl. Very nice. And Bridge may join. Sounds good. I almost forgot that there was a protest, and it was Friday night. I was going to go out and work. And then I was watching Aaron doing a live about his experiences playing footage from the council meeting and listening to everyone's comments over there about what had happened. And somebody there said something about, oh, the protest tonight. I don't know. That's right. That's right. There's a protest. Oh, okay. So I didn't have anything else beyond that. I mean, I have a video that I did with Tony today where we kind of talk about yesterday's meeting, but that's already been up. Tony put it up. I have it up on my YouTube channel. I don't think you need to see that because it's out there. But I have something else I can show. Let me first read this here from Bridge 1872. What do you think about a billboard leaving Tampa Airport for the Scientologist heading to Clearwater? Well, I welcome billboards everywhere they can be put. Definitely be nice to have one out there. I would like to see some around Flag, if there's any way to do it. I wouldn't mind if there's like portable billboards you can have driving around the town, whether it's just on a flatbed truck, whether it's on the side panel as you drive through the streets, or if it's on one of those video boards that are quite good. You can do a lot of stuff with those. But any type of billboard at all would be lovely to do here. And I'm so thrilled that the Mike Rinder Aftermath Foundation is doing that. Lupita is late to the party. Did you talk about the billboards in LA? I have not. I'm aware that there are 10 of them up there. And was it Phil Jones? It's remarkable to have 10 billboards up around Scientology properties too. And I remember the story that Tony wrote on it, that when they had just one outside of Scientology property, Scientology brought in a crane and put it in front of the billboard to kind of block it. And they will get on the phone and call the company that owns the billboards, and they'll, be threatening them to take them down. Sometimes that works. What was there was something that I was thinking of when it came to that. And I was thinking of it, but I'm not thinking of it anymore. Let's see. They'd be good to have by flag too. Yep. I think it will be 20 billboards in this area, or 20 altogether in LA and here, or 20 in LA. At any rate, if there's even one, I mean, that's remarkable. And, it's fantastic that those are going up. So while I don't have anything related to what's going on right now about Scientology, but I do have something I just finished that you probably haven't seen before. Think Scientology tried to get rid of an aftermath billboard in LA? Oh yeah. One goes up, they try to get rid of them. They did that back in 98 or 99 here, when critics, it must have been December of 98, because I wasn't here for that one. But there were some critics, including Frank Oliver, I think, was one of the people behind it. I don't know if Arnie was another. No, it wasn't Arnie. But Frank was part of this. They purchased advertising on the side of buses here in the city that was critical of Scientology. And the buses were out on the street for an hour before Scientology called the bus company and said, "You get those off the road." And they got off the road, and those were stripped. So there was actually a transit board meeting on that. And that's the first time I flew into Clearwater to get some video of that. So I should probably dig that up and edit it down a lot, because I put in a lot of the meeting there. I don't know how interesting it would be now, but there are some interesting things in it. So I'll see if I can find that. It'd be worth playing at this point. Let's see. Gina Freya says, Lara and Dean are on a billboard scavenger hunt right now. Very nice. Phil said Clear Channel is who caved to the gout last year. Lamar's who put up the new ones. Oh, they have never caved before. Yeah, well, Scientology can put pressure on to make anyone cave. Almost anyone. This is nice. Kelly saying hi, Gina. Gina saying hi, Kelly. And together we've got Gina Kelly singing in the rain. That's the way my mind works, or doesn't work. So I was going to say, here's what I have that you probably haven't seen. I have started to capture more of the video from these German filmmakers that we. I had on some of their footage the other night where Ken Hoden, the Scientology reverend, was chasing these German filmmakers around Happy Valley and Gold, Well, when they were in Clearwater in 1998, they sat down and did some interviews with Jesse Prince and Stacey Brooks and others. And it's been in this okay standard definition quality. And I downloaded a few of the files and I've started to bump them up to 4K, and they look pretty damn good. So I have one part of a Jesse Prince interview I could play for you tonight if you're interested. JB808 has been going back, seeing all the comments, and the one about grumpier old men, all-star cast of legends. Yes, indeed. You know, they made another film, Jack Lemmon and Walter Matthau made another film after those, along the same lines. This one was called Out to Sea, and the two of them were on a cruise ship. And I haven't seen it in a long time. I don't think it's quite as good as the Grumpy Old Men films, but there's great stuff in it. I'm trying to remember. I seem to remember them like pretending to be or getting jobs as wait staff or something on the ship. I don't know if that's the case or not. But I do know is that one of the co-stars in the film is Donald O'Connor, one of the last roles he had. And he gets to do a little bit of dancing. So if you ever have a chance, Out to Sea is the name of the film. I think it's directed by Martha Coolidge, who's a really terrific director. It's certainly not a beloved film, but I think it's worth checking out. So anyone who likes Jack Lemmon and Walter Matthau, you're not going to be disappointed. Yeah, I think you're right. JB808 says, I didn't see that one, but I think it had Gloria DeHaven. I think you're right. Another silver screen legend. I've got it here in my collection. I just haven't watched it in a while. I wish Jesse would do an interview. Yep, it'd be nice to have an updated interview. But if you want to take a look at this interview I have, there's two segments of it, both about a half an hour. Unfortunately, because of download times and all this kind of stuff, I got part 2 downloaded and upscaled while part 1 was still working on it. So I'm going to have part 1 fully upscaled tomorrow. But if you want to take a look at part 2, you're not really. It's not like you're coming in mid-plot, because he's talking about Scientology stuff, and you can jump in midstream. In this half-hour chunk, he's talking about Happy Valley and Miscavige, RPF, things like that. Yes, Donald O'Connor, sorry for cutting you off. Well, you have every right to cut me off. I can't complain with you cutting me off. And yes, Kelly says, we tried to have Jesse on. He's done talking about it, but we can't stop him from talking back in 1998. So we can still hear some new things from Jesse. You want to do that right now? All I have to do is push a button. I say that, but it never seems to be quite as easy as pushing that button. But I would like to take a look at this. Now, the questions from the folks who are the interviewers, very quiet. So you don't always hear the questions fully. And I did clean up the audio a bit. So every once in a while you can hear something, but without the cleanup of the audio, you really couldn't hear anything. And I've got some other things where they were almost completely inaudible. And now when you hear them, they sound pretty damn good. Let's get to it, shall we? Let's see if we can hear from Jesse Prince.
And it's March, everything, the flowers are nice, and it's a nice season.
Yeah, well, that's done. That image is created so that people have a good image of them in their mind.
So you stayed more than half a year at Happy Valley.
No, actually, I was just there for about 3.5 months.
3.5 months.
Yeah.
But how was your daily schedule?
Um,
How did it look like there? Because
it was horrible. In Happy Valley, where I left when I first went there, I literally slept on a wooden floor with rattlesnakes, scorpions, black widows, you name it, running rampant in a shack. And then when my wife came, I was allowed to see her once a week. I was given a mattress to stay in the same shack so that we could be together one day on the floor. And those were very, very bad times for me. And they also elevated my wife to a position where now she's over the Golden Era camera crew. They're taking her with the events. They're really making sure now that they treat her good because she's with me. But I did the RPF program. But, I was one of the most senior technical persons there. So
need you.
no, I got through their programs, whatever they said it, because I knew what they were doing. So, what
So you worked.
I worked. I got out, I got out of the RPF in about 3.5, 4 months. And then now that I'm off the RPF and I'm on the base, now they treat my wife badly. One day a security guard grabbed my wife and pushed her around, and she's very sad. And I went and beat the crap out of that security guard. So now me and her father are all on the DPF, which is one level before you go to the RPF. Basically same schedule, everything. You just don't have to wear the black. But it's the exact same thing.
But your schedule at Happy Valley, what was the schedule? You wait or somebody?
Well, I mean, that's great that you don't have to wear the black. Anyway, this is Jesse's book, Expert Witness by Jesse Prince. Well worth getting. Okay. There were some notations in my book here I hadn't noticed before. Yeah, it's a fairly recent book. Wait a minute. Oh. Came out in 2018, fairly recent. Did he do any big book promotions interviews for it? I can't remember any. I'm sure he did, but offhand I can't think of anything. And Lupita says it's on Kindle Unlimited. I usually will buy my books on Kindle because it's so much easier to read than in an actual book. But it is nice also to have a copy of a book. It's just I used to have a room filled with every wall was filled with books, and as I moved from place to place, I kept selling more and more of the books. Finally, I just have one small bookcase with a few dozen books, and everything else is digital now. But enough about me. Let's go back to Jesse here.
6 o'clock.
6 o'clock in the morning, you stand in line.
Who came in? Or somebody came in? Wake up. It's like in a
Yeah. Just like in a prison. Someone come in. Time to get up. Security guard.
security guard.
Yeah.
He's saying what?
Time to get up. Time to go to work. Get up. Wash up. You wash. 10 minutes. Wash, dress, and then you're outside standing in the freezing early morning in California, shaking. They do a roll call. They count you just like they do in jail. They count how many people are there, make sure no one is missing. And then you're told what you're going to do for that day. You eat a meal for 20 minutes, and then you're working until 8 o'clock until 7 o'clock, 7 o'clock at night.
On the Happy Valley compound.
Or at the Gilman Hot Springs compound, doing the renovations there.
The school bus, I think. That
Yeah,
you there.
the school bus bring you back and forth.
Yes.
We were under guard constantly or behind fences all the time. And the security there is quite phenomenal. They have the fences where they have ground sensors.
At Happy Valley.
at
That gold.
Golden Air, where even if you walk near the fence, they know it. The lights start coming on in the complex. They have night vision cameras, night vision scopes, and they had a location. You notice there's a mountain behind there, a little hill. They had an area up there called Eagle, where someone is constantly watching over the property all the time, a security guard, and they rotated his video and everything. I know these things because I helped set up the security there. Ooh, you're talking about reaping what you sow.
But there's no way out.
No. And then they have these nice looking fences where you can't hardly see, but if you touch it, it cuts your hand. You bleed like crazy. It's like razor sharp on the top, so that if you try to come over.
There's no way out. That means it's a very nice looking prison.
Very nice, beautiful looking prison camp.
And how is Happy Valley secured in your time?
In my time, just by security guards.
By security guards?
Yeah.
Because
it wasn't developed yet.
there's some sensors. They put some sensors around the houses. When somebody tries to go out in the night, the light goes on.
That's right.
What
And then
was
security.
your time there?
Yeah, and then next thing you know, a guy on a bike is coming, and he's got his club, he's got his mace, and all of these things.
And what was your meals? What did you get to eat there?
Leftovers.
Leftovers.
Yes, leftovers from whatever people were eating at Gilman Hot Springs. We got leftovers of that.
That means from
Scraps. No, it should be in the trash, but it was just leftover stuff that people didn't want to eat.
the terrible conditions.
Very, very terrible. Very terrible. I lost weight. When I went there, I was nearly 200 pounds. When I got out, I was 142 pounds.
Within 3 months.
Yeah.
Did you ever recognize that somebody died under that conditions then? Or
In the group of people that I was with, no one died, but people became very ill quite regularly. I mean, incapacitated to the point where they couldn't stand up anymore. They were just laying down sick.
and how many people have been imprisoned at Happy Valley RPF?
There was about 40 people there when I was there.
Also children or
No, they had a separate RPF for the children in Los Angeles.
there's an RPF for children also?
Yes, in Los Angeles.
Do you think it's still?
Yes, of course. I heard reports of the children wearing all black, running, can't walk, everything.
Children 10 years, 8 years old?
Yes.
You saw it personally? The children RPF?
No, I was told about it though.
Mm. And how young have been the youngest inmates in the Happy Valley RPS?
I would say, 18, 19, 20.
Mm. And some people stayed longer than you, I think.
Oh yeah,
Or
for sure,
years.
sure. But that was the second time I was on the RPF.
Oh, you have been
I was,
outside.
yes. When I first got into Scientology in San Francisco, I was on staff, and then I was recruited for the SEAL organization. I came to LA. I was on the EPF. And then I started noticing things, like, oh, look at this schedule. I'm never sleeping. The food is bad. And then I told them, no, I don't want to be in the SEAL. I don't want to be in Scientology. They said, oh, no, you are here. Now, this is when they first purchased that building in Los Angeles, the blue building. That, at the time, had a fence all around it and barbed wire going in and German Shepherd dogs patrolling, because it had been just purchased. They had purchased it from whoever, Cedars or wherever. And at that point, I told them I wanted to leave, and they said no. And they escorted me up the stairs. Some big guys grabbed me, take me up the stairs, and I was under house arrest for months. Hell, no telephone, no nothing, no way to contact anyone, no way to get out. This went on for about 18 months.
Did you ever thought at that moment to kill yourself? To go away with that? Or
Well, it was extremely depressing. But then they start in with the indoctrination too. They start you in, oh, well, read the book, see, you can get better, and if you just do what we say and da. But we worked so hard on that complex that sometimes we were on a schedule where we had to work for 30 hours, then sleep 3 hours, and then work another 30 hours. And I saw people just falling over on their feet after weeks of this.
what do you know about the running program at Gold?
That was a punishment devised by L. Ron Hubbard for people that he thought had suddenly become PDH by whatever. L. Ron Hubbard became extremely paranoid in his latter days. I mean, to the point where germs is getting on him, the space aliens, retarded space aliens all over his body, you know, on and on and on, that he figured, he said, yeah, there was this thing in space. Now, you know, he goes off with this science fiction where he said this comes from a device similar to a maypole in space where spirits, these disembodied spirits, BTs, circle around it until they come to their senses. So he put a big maypole in the Gilman Hot Spring location, and people had to run around it all day. And it was a punishment for people who he thought had suddenly become PDH, like all the senior executives, David Mayo, Vicky Azaran had to do it, Steve Marla had to do it. I never did it myself. But, you know, these people had to do it.
And was it near the new golf course? Where
Yes.
it's right there. By Slappy saw it when we flew over by the helicopter. We saw the pole and we saw the big round thing around.
Right.
And this is the running pole.
Yeah.
This is the punishment.
And you do it from the moment you wake up until you go to sleep.
Somebody brings you there from the RPF to there, or also from the Sea Org? Regular.
Yeah, regular, both.
That means you don't have to be an RPF inmate to do the
No.
running program.
That's right.
This could be also a punishment before the RPF.
Right.
Or it could be both.
Yeah. And you just run around the pole day and night for weeks on end.
Day and night.
Mhm.
They let you run under guarding. There's a little house, I think, there where somebody is.
Yeah, little water hoses spray on you if you get too hot.
Yeah.
It's degrading. It's like cattle,
It's like cattle.
animals.
It's unbelievable. And do you know about the?
Can we take a little short break?
Yeah, we'll make it short. Okay, Baxter. You close the door. Is it closed?
Okay.
So and what is behind the houses? Are there also containers in Happy Valley or
Yeah,
containers?
they have containers where they store hard copies of the dispatches that would regularly come from L. Ron Hubbard to all the corporations, you know, reference copies, photo, you know, films, you know, the film stuff that they do there, and the files and stuff, the containers. Also, there was a bunker there. Oh, it's so crazy, like in case of nuclear attack or whatever the hell.
At gold or
Yeah, it had gold.
at gold?
Yeah, where they have all of these dry storage foods, guns everywhere.
The guns stored in the bunker.
Yeah.
And where is the bunker at gold?
I'm trying to think how I could explain it to you.
Or
No. You know, the road, when you come up through the gate, there's a road. There's a ship here, and then there's a road. You go up the road, and then you make a left. No, it goes, and then it kind of curves around. Then you have a high place, and you got another road that goes off this way. It's on the road that goes off this way. There's like, there was. I mean, they changed the landscape so much. It's a big circle of trees, and then you go around that circle and around the back where you can never see this from the road is the bunker. And it was big enough, apparently, to handle everything, you know, all of the people to live there, you know, dry food. And
so where did you sleep at Happy Valley? Where?
where? When I was
And together with
in a little shack, I mean, it was just a little shack on the, you
near the
know,
entrance, near the watchtower, or is it more in the back?
no, back behind.
In the back behind. Is it barrack, or how would you
Yeah, like a barrack, yeah.
like a barrack?
Yeah.
And how many people slept in your room or in your
Let's say 20.
room? In one?
It was just one room, yeah.
There is only one room.
Yeah, there's only one room.
There's only one room where all RPF.
Well, you know, it was like a barrack. It was like, yeah, it was like a barrack split in half. One half for men, one half for women. So there's bunk beds and everything, you know, bunk beds. Yes. We made them. We had to make our own beds so we can sleep in it. Yes.
And you had your You had to change your beds, or it's every day the same bed? You know,
No, every day, same bed.
everybody's the same bed.
Yeah.
That's terrible conditions, though.
Very degrading conditions. Extremely degrading.
I know about a case, Teresa. You look for her in
Teresa.
Happy Valley. What is this?
This is a girl that had a psychotic episode similar to what happened to Lisa McPherson.
At Happy Valley.
Well, it was at Gold because she was made to stay up day and night. And then she's getting all of this ethics because she's falling behind because she can't even hardly stay awake. And then she snapped. She got on her hands and knees, started barking like a dog, acting like animals. So out to Happy Valley she goes. And Stacy and I had to watch her until she got better.
But as an RPF image, you have been a...
Oh, this is after I was off the RPF.
That means you as a guard for her.
Yeah.
For this. And she was an inmate of the RPF, Teresa, then.
No.
Security thing.
Yeah, security thing, yes.
That means not only RPF people are at Happy Valley. It could be for other reasons.
Anything that's a security risk is at Happy Valley.
There,
Yeah.
nobody can find, no journalists, nothing.
No, nothing. No contact, no telephones, no nothing. No TV, no nothing. No newspapers, nothing. No radio, nothing.
Nothing there.
Nothing.
There's no chance to get out, no chance to inform other people where you are.
No. No chance to get help.
It's one of the hardest prison camps, I think, in the United States. Huh?
I think so. It's like Angola or something.
It's Angola or Vietnam.
Yeah.
This is a hard
Here in America, of all places, here in America, something like that could exist. Unbelievable.
It's unbelievable. And still existing.
Yes.
And the government is not stopping it.
No. They've intimidated the government into submission. Scientology, something that is supposed to be a religion, something that is supposed to be a church, has intimidated the United States government to the point to submission, so that they operate now with impunity under the guise of a religion.
There's Thomas try to commit suicide at Gold. Seth Thomas, I think is his name, a young boy.
Seth, yes, yeah, Seth.
What happened to him and why?
He was so depressed because he was picked on so much. You know, it's like, oh, you look funny, you act stupid, you have a low IQ, constantly every day, always in trouble, always getting ethics. He didn't want to live. His mother, Sue Price, an executive within Scientology, you know, didn't really care for him. He's just a little boy. So he's suicidal. You know, and I think part of that was he knew that would make them crazy and that was his only salvation of getting away from that base. So he kept saying it and cutting himself and doing things.
And he finally made it?
Yeah, he did leave there.
You were in charge for RTC to also to build an RTC department in Germany. Is it right? Or
Yes.
what
A
is
representative. Just to have someone who could execute RTC orders in Munich to, you know, and look at the folders and, you know, it actually had to do with money, in all honesty, because RTC would demand folders or let the public send their folders to RTC if they didn't think the org was doing the right thing, and then RTC charged them. When I first started in RTC, it was given an initial seed money of $2 million. When I left there, it had over 20 million.
That means you went to Germany?
Oh, yeah, many times. I was even at the Oktoberfest.
In Munich.
Yeah.
And which the RTC offices were built within an org.
Yes.
That means which orgs you put RTC offices in?
I did it in Munich. I did one in AOSHEU. I did one in the UK at the St. Hill organization. I did one in Australia.
Hamburg?
I did. I don't think so.
Was in Hamburg.
I don't think so.
But you made a video about the org in Hamburg.
Yeah, I mean, they were going to St. Hill and all of that size, you know.
And what you've done in Hamburg?
Well, you know, they were going, they had that program where to make all the orgs large, like St. Hill size orgs. So
you said hello to the org there.
yeah.
And you want to show the people in the United States.
I think I did an event there or something, you know, I don't specifically recall.
But the main or the headquarters of Scientology was Munich at that time.
Yeah.
So and who was in charge for RTC there in Munich then?
I don't remember that person's name.
No? Löbau?
I don't remember. It's been so long now.
And especially Wipke Hansen. Did you saw her? In
Victor, yeah. I saw her here in Clearwater is where I met her.
When?
She was receiving an award, and this is after I'm out of RTC, and I'm just now, during that 5-year period. I was here doing an event, and I saw her getting her award for making New York big, St. Hill Science.
This is the only time you met her? Or?
Yeah.
No more. And did Miscavige or you discuss ever the situation in Germany?
No.
It's good developing because the org in Hamburg was the biggest org, which from the income here.
Yeah, no, I never discussed it. I mean, that Germany was not an issue when I was in RTC.
Mm-hmm. No issue.
No.
Mm-hmm. Never.
No.
So only Germany was one of the countries like
that was just sending money, to the foreign accounts and
money machine.
Yeah, money machine.
It's only money machine.
That's all.
And who's looking after the accountants? How much money comes in? Is this RTC at Gold?
That was the Church of Scientology International, CSI. Would have been maybe Mike Render.
Mike Render.
Yeah. Mike Render would have been a person very concerned with that.
You had been also the head within RTC of the Secret Service.
Yes.
Yeah? That means you have been the boss of Mike Render and Kurt Weiland because...
oh, yes.
You are the boss of them.
Yes. Kurt Weiland was, Mike Render, he was such a non-person. I never even paid attention to him. It was like, he was so little, yeah.
So OSA Inc. is not the real head of the...
Oh, so no.
RTC OSA. And you have been the boss of RTC OSA.
Right.
Controlling all the activities against critics, against journalists.
Maybe not necessarily controlling, but supervising and being informed about it.
And how comes the message from operations? Who gives the orders for operations? For
David Miscavige micromanages everything. Yes.
He said, Jesse, I have a problem with somebody in Copenhagen or Germany, for example.
Yeah, but the main person that now there was a person that was secretly higher than me that has always been over the investigative process in Scientology, the Secret Service, which is Marty Rathbun.
He was hired.
Oh, yeah, but never, you could never say that corporately, but he always was. He worked at ASI, Author Services. This is when David Miscavige was in ASI, L. Ron Hubbard's for-profit corporation.
Mm-hmm. How?
I'll pause here for just a moment to answer this question from Kelly. Do I know if Jesse and Mike ever made friends? I don't think they ever did. I don't think Jesse was willing. I'm not positive about that. I just know that when everything fell apart at the LMT, Jesse was very, very upset that Bob had to testify to get out of whatever torture he was going through with Scientology. So the very idea of working with Mike Render at that point was anathema to Jesse. And I don't think they ever, even after Mike left, I don't think they ever got in touch and had much communication. Could be wrong about that, but I'm not aware of anything like that ever having happened. That is too bad. Yes, indeed. So let's get back to some more of Jesse here.
These kind of investigating started. That means Miscavige get every day reports.
Right. Me too.
You too. You got reports from investigating officers.
Yeah.
Like trained all of
Private.
them in Miami.
Yeah. No. It was on a much higher level. It would be specifically to do with legal cases too. Like I would get information regards Jerry Armstrong, what's happening with this case, what investigators are doing, what the plants are doing. The David Mayo case at the time, which was a RICO suit against him, the plants that we had sent in there, the black operations that we were doing in there. Lawrence Wallersheim, his attorney, Pat O'Reilly, what was being done to him, these kind of things.
And who wrote the report? Osa in Los Angeles.
Yeah, yeah, and then no, to no one. They would just make the report. See, they learned when they got raided in 1977 not to put names, not to have specific programs. So these would just come as pieces of paper with the information not signed by anyone, not really saying the names of anyone that we're using, but giving the information. They will put in envelopes, and then someone from OSA would come around and deliver the envelopes to all of the people who were supposed to have it.
That means they drive over from LA to Gilman, 2 hours by
Well, I
car.
had an office in LA too.
You had an office too.
Yeah.
Was this your main job, these Osa things? So
It became it because as Miscavige started taking over more and more and more, it became the majority of my job to do legal and look in investigative things.
And what was the main investigation job you've done, or you controlled? The main investigation.
Well, RTC had its own investigative, which was over all the other investigative units. But then again, like I say, Marty Rathburn in ASI, a for-profit person working in a for-profit corporation, would run the nonprofit, the investigative units in a nonprofit corporation, and in fact give them their orders.
Barry Minecraft, what's the question? It was about.
Just a question, but can you try to explain how it works that people are doing things they won't do when they are out, as I think about, about your experience in this organization, and right now you know what you did and what you let them doing with you. So, you
Okay, I understand what you're trying to ask me. It's a gradient process whereby you're kind of indoctrinated and you're asked to do things that are illegal. You're asked to do criminal things, in your position, and then pretty soon, you're doing it, everyone else is doing it. It's like part of the job. If you want to be in this position, then you have to start doing these types of criminal activities. And since everyone does it, now everyone is culpable, so everybody keeps quiet about it. No one talks about it. As I said earlier, the people, the hierarchy of Scientology does not practice Scientology as it is written in some of those bulletins.
And what do you think what's going on in people who put people like you or like Stacy in the RPF and let them sleep on wood and with scorpions and eat bad food? And did you mean you can learn this to deal with people in such kind of bad way?
Oh yeah, because these, now these people are considered to be enemies of Scientology, and we're even showing them mercy by trying to fix their minds so that they no longer think the way that they do. Yeah, you see that RPF means rehabilitate. That means to change your mind till you go from one point in your mind to another. That's the whole idea. And it was designed from the beginning to be cruel.
A friend of you was Arthur Hubbard, the son of.
Hey, I knew him. I audited him, yes.
And he was also, I think, 2 times in the RPF.
Yes.
Did you know that?
Yes.
For what reason?
He's trying to escape.
From where? From
Scientology.
From
Yeah,
Scientology.
see it, yeah.
They put him to Happy Valley.
Yes,
Arthur Hubbard,
yes,
the son of Aaron Hubbard,
yes.
for more than 1 year.
L. Ron Hubbard didn't care about his children. He didn't have any connection, and none of the normal family values, because L. Ron Hubbard thought that everyone was just their own spirit infested with retarded space aliens. There was no family values, no family morals. His wife, his daughter, he didn't care about any of those people. And they never saw him for years. They didn't see him when he died. None of his family was at his deathbed. None of that.
So, Arthur was a prisoner of the creation of his own father.
Yes. As well as Diane, as well as Suzette.
But Diane,
And as well as his granddaughter, Roanne.
But is she still in Scientology, the granddaughter also?
I can only imagine that she is.
So what did you earn when you were inside in the Sea Org? No.
In RTC, I probably earned about $400 or $500 a week. in RTC. But in the Sea Org, $24 a week, $10 a week, $5 a week, $7 a week.
So how can Daily Miscavige afford such luxury lifestyle? Because
Well, he doesn't make that. I mean, he said he makes 60, 70,000 a year.
but his lifestyle is different from your lifestyle you had when you were in Scientology. It's totally different, right?
Yeah, totally. Sure. He lives extravagantly because he's the boss. There's no way to explain it. It's criminal. There's no answer. It's just criminal.
So how? What is the chance to stop Scientology in Miscavige? What somebody has to do?
Well, without government intervention, very little.
No chance.
Very little.
And you think this will happen
I pray that it does.
if we go on like this?
Hopefully it will. Only two more minutes, yeah. Oh.
You had been the head of Incom of this computer system
Right.
thing. What kind of thing is that?
Well, that was just in the early 80s. It was a network to organization to computerize Scientology, to computerize its files, to and you know, like we have email today. They had something that they called Mercury, which could put everyone in communication just like the email does.
All organizations, all.
Yes.
And it worked.
Yes.
All secret information also.
No, it was just common information majorly.
But OSA is not going over that Incom system.
No, I mean, they used it, you know, to type up legal briefs and things like that. And they had encoding systems and different things like that as well.
And you had also something like a rollback thing to catch a spy in the system.
Another thing from L. Ron Hubbard, you know, and his paranoia. Yeah. I don't even hardly remember it anymore, how they used to even do it. You know, you sit a person and, well, where did you, oh, I remember, like someone says, would say, hey, you know, the bathroom is dirty. Someone would complain. This just isn't an innocuous example. Oh, well, who told you the bathroom was dirty? Where did you first get that idea from? Tell me the name of the person. And then you find that person, whoop, to the RPF. Yes, that's a rollback. Just paranoid delusion.
So we wish you good luck for the future.
Well, thank you.
And thank you for the interview.
Sure. You're welcome.
Thank
you.
to us.
Thank you.
Hopefully we can make something good out of it.
I hope so.
Thank you. Go.
Well, there you go. The end of part 2, but lucky for you, we still have part 1 to watch tomorrow night, most likely. Well, it's the weekend, so I'm not sure. May wait till Monday. Anyway, I hope you found that interesting. It's really Jesse is a good guy. He had a lot of info to share, a lot of experiences. And it's great that something like this from 98 can be dug up, refreshed, and seen by a whole new audience. And that's one of the fun things of doing this. I always, you know, like it when I can find something that has been buried, and sharing it with others is a great delight. So thank you for joining me again tonight. I want to thank everybody who's been supporting me here, and especially JB808. God bless you for the wonderful gimbal. I'll make good use of that. Everybody, I hope to see you again sometime soon. Lots of fun stuff going on. You know, when you see the council that you once sat on suddenly turn right around and do everything you were warning not to do, it's interesting times. But that's the way life works, I guess. There'll be a turnaround again at some point, maybe in 2 years. All right. Well, I gotta say, well, you know, again, I'm too humble to even consider that. But thank you. Wait a minute. What's it? Oh, there's one. It's just a movie-related thing before I go, and this will probably spark a ton of other stuff. But I'm going to try to leave it at this, because we were talking about Walter Matthau. And I was thinking about a thriller that he made that is fantastic. And I saw it a few years ago, finally. And John Travolta remade it into a really horribly crappy film. But then the original Taking a Pelham 1, 2, 3, if you ever have a chance to see it, if you haven't seen it yet, search it out, because it is so well done. It's one of these films that had a kind of a grittiness to it and a naturalness. There were films back in the 70s and 80s that really felt texturally more real than some of the glossy stuff that evolved in the coming decades. But Walter Matthau is great in this straight part of, there's was it a terrorist on a subway or a train? I guess it was a train. And they had to do something to stop this as the train's hurtling around. Taking a Pelham 1, 2, 3, the original, not the John Travolta one. That's your film history lesson for tonight. Hey, what do you know? It's not a new Amazon list. It's refreshed because, the gimbal was purchased. So that's gone. But if you're interested in helping me get a hard drive, I've got several up there. Cheapest one is just a standard 2 gig hard drive. Next one up is a solid state drive, a little more expensive, but they are good. I'm filling up all of my drives. I've got so many damn drives that are filling up. So those are always welcome. And that's the end of me begging right now. And that's the end of me broadcasting, I think, because I am sleepy. It is, wait a minute. Well, it's about 12:30, and we've been talking for 2 hours. So I think it's time to call it a wrap. Thank you so much. And you're right. I needed to get some rest this afternoon at 1 in the afternoon. And I thought, well, I'm going to get some rest, and I didn't. I've been going nonstop ever since. All right. Yes. A few busy days. Yep. But they've been exciting. So we'll start it all again next Monday at the very least. Everybody, I appreciate you coming by here, and it is time to bid adieu. And I'll see your adieu, and throw more into the kitty. I don't know. See, that's how sleepy I am. All right. Good night, people.
What are your crimes, Mark? Yes, what are your crimes, Mark? Your crimes are hidden, they should be seen. Spin all out, Mark, and just come clean.